What is up, guys? Welcome to a slightly different video today. So last year we hit a pretty big milestone in that we earned our 100th platinum trophy, and so what I've decided to do today is we're going to go through and we are going to rate every single one of my platinum trophies. So as you can see at the making of this video, I currently have 106 platinum trophies, 509 gold, 1,286 silver, and 3,829 bronze trophies. I will be splitting this video up into two parts just because I think if I go through all 100 it will be ridiculously long. In regards to how I'm going to be rating each game, I will separate them into two separate ratings. So the first one I will give credit to will be the actual platinum journey itself, and then the other rating will be how good the actual story and game itself was. I'll also be going through and doing this all in alphabetical order. Alright, so the very first platinum that we have on the list is A Plague Tale. Now, this game I absolutely loved. It was very similar feelings to The Last of Us. Obviously not quite as good, but the story itself was just absolutely amazing. But it was slightly frustrating and still felt a little bit weird at times, and the platinum journey itself was pretty straightforward besides a few little collectibles. And so for that, I'm definitely giving that one an A rank. Next, we obviously have A Plague Tale Requiem. Again, huge fan of the series, but this also falls very similarly into the category of A Plague Tale. Another A tier platinum, pretty much the same comments as what the very first game was. Next, we have Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, this is without a doubt like my favorite Assassin's Creed game. It was what got me into the series. I was very much a multiplayer guy when I first started playing games, and I had never really delved into the Assassin's Creed series, and this one, honestly, the emotional story of Bayek is just so good, and I still remember it vividly to this day. And for that reason, it will fit into the S tier. Next up, we have Animal Well, and honestly, this game is like seriously underrated. Like if I was to think about any of like the free games that come to PlayStation Plus every month, I feel like this one slotted like very much under the radar. Super short, a little bit grindy, but honestly super straightforward, and one that I actually really loved. And I'm going to fit that straight into the A tier. Next up, we have Another Crab's Treasure. Now, I have such a love-hate relationship with this game. Like honestly, it was so fun, but then also at the same time so bad. Like the mechanics in the game were super frustrating. Obviously it's a Souls-like Crabs game, so it's a little bit different compared to what your usual sort of games are, and definitely a little bit grindy towards the end, and I definitely found myself getting pretty frustrated. For that, sits in the B tier. Next is Ark Survival Evolved. Not really much to say about this one. I played this honestly with a whole heap of friends, and then I actually used the cheats to pop up all the trophies because it's such a grind. Honestly, this game is like beyond ridiculous, but the actual gameplay itself is super fun. If you are going for the trophies, so be prepared to grind it out if you are not using cheats, and for that it's going to fit into the B tier. Next, we have Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, again, I am a big Assassin's Creed fan since getting Origins done, but Assassin's Creed Mirage honestly was super disappointing. The story was not great. In fact, I hardly remember it, and I only got the platinum for it like a year and a half ago. It's just, yeah, not a great game. It doesn't really do anything different from any of the others, and for that reason, it's going to fit pretty much here into the B tier. Next, we have Astro's Playroom. Now, I think if there is anyone who has gone for platinum trophies, this is probably one of the very first ones that they would have gotten, given that the game came for free with the PlayStation 5. Honestly, such a good showcase of what the PlayStation is capable of, and just such a fun game. Easy platinum, super straightforward, don't feel grindy, only takes a couple of hours, and for that is going to sit in the S tier. Black Myth Wukong. Now, this was probably my favorite game of 2024, I believe it came out, and yeah, this game was so fun. Very grindy as a platinum though. You got to go through and do 2 playthroughs pretty much as a minimum, and that's if you do not miss any bosses and any of the collectibles. The story itself is great, the combat is great. Definitely one of my more favorite games, but given that the grind that it has at the end, we're going to place it in A tier. Next, we have Bloodborne. Now, this was my very first Souls game. A lot of people say that it actually is the easiest Souls game to get into, and after playing a fair few now, I would agree that Bloodborne definitely is the easiest one. Definitely doesn't feel too grindy as a platinum. I believe just the chalice dungeons where you're half health is probably the only part of it that's tricky. A couple of the boss fights are a little bit hard, but honestly, like for an introduction to the Souls-like games, this one definitely fits there, and just a great story and just plays so well. So for me, this one is definitely going to be fitting into S tier. Next, we have Borderlands 3, and yeah, this game is, well, what can I say? I bought it, I bought all the DLC, I have played through everything and gotten the 100%, and yeah, it was okay. That's really all I can say. There was a lot of bugs when it first came out. I wasn't particularly happy with it compared to what Borderlands 1 and 2 were like. The story itself is somewhat interesting, and look, the platinum, there's a fair bit of grinding and stuff like that to do at the end to get weapons, but honestly, not the worst, but also not the best. So for that, I'm definitely seeing it as fitting into mid-tier here and B. Next, Bugsnax. Now, what a cool free game to get. Definitely a unique story. I think if you go into this game, the story turns out to be, yeah, like the complete opposite of what I expected it to be. I was expecting a kid's game, but it ended up being like quite dark and quite sinister. The platinum journey itself as well is super straightforward. You don't really have to think too much. You don't have to go out of your way to really get any trophies. Everything comes pretty naturally, which is nice. And again, like overall, just a pretty good story, but again, nothing amazing. So for that, definitely fitting into mid tier. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. What a game. If I was to look back at my early gaming years, this game here filled the list of what was my, just basically filled all of my time. This was probably the most hours I have on a game is between this and Modern Warfare 3. And the platinum journey itself is just amazing. Like, it's probably the best campaign in Call of Duty besides Black Ops. And the Spec Ops, yes, a little bit grindy, but honestly, given everything else in the game, like the campaign, the multiplayer, it's just such a top tier game, and for that will be fitting into S tier. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Again, just like Modern Warfare 2, this game took up so much of my early gaming years, and I have so many hours on this game, it is actually unbelievable. Campaign as well, really good. Multiplayer, really good. Just a little bit of a grind with the Spec Ops. There are so many Spec Op levels, and then the survival grind is probably the only thing that I really hated with this game. Other than that, everything else is just like absolutely amazing, but because of the survival grind, I do have to put it into A tier. Can't quite get it into S tier. Next, Call of Duty Vanguard. Now, I actually really enjoyed this. This kind of got me back into Call of Duty as the game itself, but yeah, compared to a lot of the other greats like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops, this one does fall pretty short, but it's also not that bad. Like, the grind is not that big, the zombies is a little bit tough, but really it's not that tough of a game, and it's one that I actually really thoroughly enjoyed, and so for that reason I am going to be fitting it into B tier. The OG Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Now, if you were to look at a Call of Duty game, this for me is probably the perfect platinum in regards to that. There's only campaign trophies, there's no multiplayer trophies, no zombies trophies. Really the only hard one is the airplane level, where you have to beat the run in a certain number of time. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it is really tough trophy. I reckon it took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get that one level done. But in regards to everything else, it's probably one of the GOAT games and one of my favorites. Definitely will be putting that into F. Next is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Again, this game for me is so good. I think if we look back to when COVID hit, when we were all spending a lot of time just gaming and not doing anything else, this was the game that everyone was sort of playing. Warzone as well was just such a good change of scenery in regards to the first person shooter community. Platinum journey itself, again, really straightforward, not too hard. Few multiplayer trophies, all campaign trophies, and yeah, very straightforward. And I absolutely love this game, and it is going to fit into my S tier as well. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, this is where I think Call of Duty and everything just started to go downhill from pretty much this game onwards, and the platinum was just boring. There's really nothing else to say other than that. Like, if I look at this game, there's not really much else for me to say. I did enjoy it. It was really good. It was fun, but like, it's just not memorable, and I definitely don't ever consider going back to play it. And for that reason, it's going to be our first game into the C tier. Call of Duty World War II. Now, for me, this is one of the most underrated Call of Duties. The campaign is amazing. Like, honestly, if I look at the campaign, I would definitely put it up there in the top 5 campaigns that Call of Duty has ever made. I think it's definitely underrated. The cinematics in it are great. The only tough thing with the platinum is the zombies. You have to beat the zombies with the regular Easter egg, but then also the hardcore Easter egg, which is a lot harder than a lot of people think, and I had to get carried by a few guys online, so shout out to them. And because of that grind, I will actually fit it into A tier. Next on our list is Cardo. Now, every now and then I do like to just play some cool little puzzle games that are fun, don't take too long, a couple of hours, and just have a cool little story. But the gameplay itself was pretty boring, nothing really memorable in this one, and yeah, super straightforward. Get a few collectibles and complete some puzzles, but I will be putting this one into the C tier. Next, we have Crysis Remastered. Now, I made a video on this, and it's on my YouTube channel if you want to go and watch it, and I probably hated nearly every minute of my journey with this game. I know back in the day, it's one of the best games that was made for the PlayStation 3, and it was crashing a lot of PCs, and back then, I certainly believe this game would have been good, but compared to now, this game is just absolutely horrible. The Platinum journey, again, is pretty straightforward, but goodness, the controls are terrible nowadays, and it's pretty frustrating on the hardest difficulty. And so for that reason, it will be our first game in the D tier. Crash Bandicoot Warped. An absolute classic. Definitely one of my favorite games from the remastered trilogy that came out a while ago. The easiest one out of the 3 in the trilogy. This one definitely is the more forgiving. The levels are pretty straightforward, and the time trials really aren't that hard. Again, yeah, it is a little bit grindy because of the time trials, but also not too bad. But I will be fitting that one straight away here into the A tier. Next, we have Darksiders. And now, Darksiders, if I'm being completely honest, is actually a very underrated game. I think anyone who would have played this back on the PS3 would have realized how fun this was. And they did a remastered or a remake, which was free on PlayStation Plus. It no longer is now. And I took the chance to play it. And yeah, this game is just so fun. Platinum journey did not feel at all like a chore. Yes, we had to grind a few things at the end of the game, but it just didn't feel bad. The combat was so satisfying. It holds up so well today. And for me, this is definitely an underrated S tier Platinum that I think a lot of people would actually find quite fun if they decided to go for it. Next on our list is Daxter. Now, this is the PSP remake, which was released again free on PlayStation Plus a few years back. And again, for me, this is probably the best PSP remake that Sony have done since they've started releasing some of the older games onto the new gen consoles for free. Again, really straightforward. The controls actually work really well with the controller. That's the one thing I get a bit nervous about with PSP games, is can the controls actually translate over well to like a controller, not from a handheld device. But again, it's one of those ones where it was fun, but also not that memorable, and for that, it definitely sits more mid-tier for me. Next, we have Deliver Us the Moon. Again, this one falls into the category similar to Cardo, just one that I was looking to play and just, take it pretty easy, not have to think too much, complete a few puzzles. In saying that, the story itself was pretty good. I believe it only took me a couple of hours to get the platinum. Again, not much of a grind, but one that I absolutely loved. And yeah, it'll sit very much in the mid category. Next is Detroit Become Human. I think, again, same thing. Anyone who is a platinum hunter will likely have done this game. The game itself is so fun. I absolutely loved every minute of playing it. You do have to be a little bit strategic with your saves, so the journey is a little bit of a grind, which is going to be the only knock that I have on it. You do have to kind of replay through things multiple times for certain dialogue, which is, yeah, a little frustrating, but other than that, the story itself is really, really good and definitely worth playing. And for that, I'll fit it into the A tier. Endling Extinction is Forever. Again, another really short platinum, one that I just wanted to get done over, a couple of hours, except this had some more frustrating elements and definitely some more frustrating puzzles in it. The story, actually kind of sad. I definitely finished the story and I was kind of like, this is actually somewhat emotional, which is a bit different for a game. But yeah, the platinum, pretty short, but a little bit of a grind and not that fun, to be honest. So C tier for that one. Fallout 76. I think if there was any game on the internet that was super polarizing, Fallout 76 would fall straight into that category. We look at the Fallout series and we think about Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, and they're just such good games. But then we have Fallout 76, which just was absolutely horrible on release. There's no other way to describe it, but in saying that, it has been cleaned up and it actually is quite fun now, but you are looking at a 100-hour plus grind for this. I enjoyed it purely because I played it with all of my friends and it actually was quite easy to get the platinum because I wasn't really going for it, and you can get it quite naturally. There's really only a few things you have to go out of your way to do and to get, but again, the game does have its issues and it is a little bit frustrating at times, so for that I'm going to be putting it into the B tier. Far Cry 3. For me, this is my second favorite Far Cry game. I think everyone will know what probably the number one will be, but this is just like such a great story, such a good introduction to the Far Cry series if you haven't played it, considering Far Cry Classic and Far Cry 2 are just super grindy platinums. The remastered version that is available on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 is actually, really good, and the controls hold up. They are a little bit old and dated, and you can definitely feel that. But honestly, it's one of the best stories, has one of the best villains, and I loved every minute of it. And so for that will fit into the A tier. Next, we have Greedfall. Now, Greedfall probably goes under the radar a little bit if you're asking me. I think a lot of people don't really talk about it as a game, and it actually is surprisingly good. The story was fun, the combat was also fun. There is kind of some ways to glitch the game and get infinite ammo, which I did do for some of the bosses because they are actually hard and you do need to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. But it did start to turn into a little bit of a grind at the end because you do need to complete like 4 or 5 different endings, and so for that reason I got pretty sick of it by the end of it. I was very much like done. I didn't want to play it anymore. For that reason, just due to the journey being so poor, it will fit into the C category. Horizon Zero Dawn. Again, this is one of like my most favorite games ever. If I think of any games that I could recommend for someone to get the platinum for, particularly one that's fairly straightforward and pretty easy, Horizon Zero Dawn fits that perfectly. I think, whenever I'm asked on stream or whenever I'm talking to people who are new to platinum trophies, this is often one that I will recommend straight away, just given that the game itself is amazing, but also the platinum journey as well is very straightforward. You don't have to spend a lot of time grinding, and a lot of things just come like quite naturally, which is always fun. And so for that reason, it will be going straight into my S tier. Next, we have Infamous Second Son. Out of all the Infamous games, this one actually is my favorite, and considering that this was released in 2013 as like a release game with the PlayStation 4, playing it now in like 2026, you'd actually kind of be shocked to think that the game is like 13 years old. The graphics are great, the gameplay is so smooth, everything holds up really well. Pretty good story. The only grind is that you do have to go and do 2 playthroughs, one with good karma and one with bad karma, as we know all Infamous games have, but everything else was really straightforward and quite fun. So for that reason, it is going to be A tier. Next is Killzone Liberation. Now, just like Daxter, this is a PSP port that has been brought over to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and released for free. Again, actually translated over quite well from the handheld controls to the controller. And yeah, like again, only a couple of hours needed, just need to complete all the levels. You do have to beat the game, I think, on the hardest difficulty, and the last boss can be a little bit tricky, but yeah, I loved it. I played this game heaps on my PSP when I was a little kid, but again, nothing that's sort of too amazing, and for that it just fits into the B tier category. Life is Strange. Now, this is Life is Strange True Colors, I believe, and yeah, I wanted to get into the Life is Strange series. I tried this as it's the first one in the story before, obviously, Life is Strange 1, but I just really struggled. I honestly found it so hard. These type of games are just not for me at all, and yeah, if I look back on it, I definitely wish I hadn't played it, because it just felt super boring for me. The story is quite good, but it's just not my type of game, and so for that, it will go into the C tier. My Friend Peppa Pig. Let's just not even talk about this. I feel like I was bullied into playing this game on stream. For those who tune in and watch me quite a bit, we will be putting that straight into the D tier. Immortals Phoenix Rising. This one was my first ever YouTube video that I ever made, and yeah, it was fun, but also frustrating as well. There was a pretty big grind at the end to get collectibles and to get certain things done at the end of the story. I kind of hate games where you finish the story, but then you still have so much to do and you're still like so under-leveled when you finish the story that you can't take on like a lot of the side quests or kill or fight a lot of the side bosses. And that's sort of what Immortals Phoenix Rising felt like. It definitely, yeah, you got through the story super quickly, and then suddenly, yeah, for some reason you were just so underpowered and had to spend a lot of time leveling up and collecting things. And so for that reason, it will fit straight into the B tier. God of War. Again, just like Horizon Zero Dawn, this is one of my all-time favorite games. I think if I was to, rank my top 5 games, this one would be very, very much close to number 1, or would be number 1. Again, it's a great platinum. You can play it on any difficulty. All the trophies come pretty well naturally, where you don't even need to think about it. They just come along as you play through. The gameplay is just amazing, and then let's just not even forget how good of a story it is. You pretty much just get the best of both worlds if you are a platinum hunter, and so for that will be going straight into the S tier. Need for Speed Payback. Racing games are a favorite of mine. Obviously, if you tune into the channel, you know I'm currently going through and trying to platinum as many racing games as possible. Need for Speed Payback though, unfortunately, the story wasn't great. The gameplay is just your typical car game. Did it do anything amazing? Not really. Is it grindy? Yes, a little bit, where you have to get all of the speed traps just like you have to in a lot of the new Call of Duty games. Not Call of Duty games, Need for Speed games, but yeah, it's just one of those ones. I did enjoy it, I had fun, but definitely wouldn't be recommending it as the first Need for Speed game, and for that it fits into C tier. Concrete Genie. This one was actually really, really good, if I'm being 100% honest. I absolutely loved it. It was quite fun. The story was really good. A very short, quick platinum. Only took me, I think, a handful of hours to get done. The only annoying thing is there are some VR trophies to get done, and unfortunately, unless you have a VR, you can't get them. So this one is sitting there not fully completed on my trophy list, which I would like to go through at some stage and get it. But for that reason, it definitely fits more into the mid tier for me. Metal Hellsinger. Now, Metal Hellsinger is, a weird game. I went into it thinking it was going to be some sort of shooter game. I thought it was going to be a lot more fun than what it was, but it actually was the opposite of that. You had to basically do every single thing on beat, and it got super frustrating by the end of it. And again, same thing, it's lucky it's super short. I didn't really feel like I needed to grind through it, but yeah, this one will be fitting straight into the D tier. Mystic Pillars. Again, this one fits into another category just like Cardo. It's just a nice, easy, cool puzzle game. Don't really have to do too much and think here. It's just numbers, add them all up, make sure that all the pillars are equal, and then you progress through about 80 or so levels. Took me a week or two to do while I was watching lectures at the same time at uni, but again, nothing really amazing, and for that fits into the C tier. Next, we have Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Now, again, for me, this game falls into the underrated category. A lot of times when I'm asked on stream, I will suggest this to people. It is a little bit Souls-like-y, and you also do need to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, which is a little bit tricky. Once you get the hang of the mechanics though, it's actually pretty straightforward and it's actually not too bad. But for me, I definitely try to recommend it a lot to a lot of people, and we have the new game coming out soon, which Sony revealed in the State of Play, and for me it fits into the A category, Maneater. Now, if you're looking for a unique game, again, I think nearly every single person I know has platinum this, because it actually is very, 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 very fun. I didn't think swimming around as a shark, eating people, and basically just like landing on boats and ripping boats in half could be as fun as what it was, but Maneater is, yeah, seriously fun for that reason. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Is it an S tier game? No. Is it an A tier game? Definitely, given that the platinum is pretty well straightforward and you don't really need to grind. And so for that reason, it will fall into the A tier category. All right, now next we have PGA 2K21. Again, this is going back a little bit to my sort of initial gaming sort of roots. I absolutely love sports games. Sports games have always been a massive part of my life, from FIFA to NBA to golfing games back on the PlayStation 2. And 2K21 was a great reintroduction to golf games. The platinum, again, really straightforward, doesn't need to be played on any difficulty. Everything just kind of comes naturally. You just have to win everything, that's about it. I think the hardest trophy was landing a putt from like however many feet away, but other than that, it's really straightforward, and for me, that will fit into the A category. My Name is Mayo. Again, not much to be said. This is probably really the only like shovelware game that I do have besides like Peppa Pig, but I guess Peppa Pig you still have to do stuff and get through the story. Obviously I'll be fitting that straight into the D tier. Crash Bandicoot the original. Again, this is my childhood for me. I absolutely love this game. Is it hard? Yes. Is it really, really hard? No. It's definitely doable. I think if you just have the patience and learn all of the levels, you'll be able to get the platinum done pretty comfortably. A lot of people do find it tricky, but for me, it's not actually that bad. And again, everything does come pretty naturally. Like you do have to grind the time trials a little bit, but with practice and after learning the levels, you'll be pretty good and you'll get through them pretty comfortably. And so for that, I am going to be putting it into the A tier category. Next, we have Maquette. Again, this is a cool little shape puzzle type of game. Nothing really too amazing, but also not too bad. A cool little quick platinum if you want to get something done quickly, but also not that great. So I definitely don't go out of my way to recommend it, and that will fit into the C category. Death's Door. For me, again, another very, very underrated gem. A little bit grindy, but also I kind of screwed up the journey and got the trophy list. I mucked up the trophies a little bit and missed one of the trophies, so I had to go through and play the game all over again. But honestly, besides the umbrella run, where you have to use an umbrella only and you can't upgrade your character, this game is so fun, and I actually would put it into my S tier if not for the umbrella run. The umbrella run is super tricky, where it pretty much just takes so long to kill things that it did get sort of frustrating by the end, but we did get there. But it does fit into my A tier. RoboCop Rogue City. Now, this game, I was really looking forward to this game when it came out, when the trailer was there and when it was free on PlayStation Plus. I thought to myself, this is going to be really good. I'm going to really enjoy this game. And it started well for probably the first hour, 2 hours, and then after that it just became so repetitive. The story was just so boring. It got really janky, it didn't feel very smooth, and honestly I found myself getting just so frustrated with this game that I honestly wish I nearly didn't play it, and so for that reason it does fit into the C tier for me. Next we have Doom. Now, Doom for me is an absolute classic. Loved it. First person shooter, heavy metal music, what can go wrong. Obviously it is a little bit tough. The game's difficulty is a little bit hard at times, but honestly it's actually just so fun. I think, again, I recommend this game all the time when people ask. The platinum journey itself is very, very straightforward, and so for that reason, A tier is where it will go.